What an awful question. How long can marriage last without intimacy? Anybody in that situation probably doesn't want to be in that situation. But I can tell you, having been a therapist for over a decade, that there's a lot of marriages out there that don't have intimacy. There's a lot of people suffering in their relationships. And there are ways to break free from being in a relationship that lacks intimacy. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. There's a clear answer to how long a marriage can last without intimacy. And I hate to say this, but the answer is a marriage without intimacy can last an entire lifetime. That's called hell. I see it all the time. But people get really good at suffering through, at being trapped in a relationship. And they can make it their entire life. That's full of resentment. It's full of disconnection. It's full of anger. It's full of sadness, but they can make it through. It's not a happy situation. I believe that intimacy is absolutely important for a relationship. I want you to understand that intimacy is different than sex. Sex is just one part of intimacy. It's one way that we're intimate with each other. So if you're watching this video wondering how long can marriage last without sex, it's kind of a different topic. So when you work on intimacy, that leads to more sex in your marriage. It leads to more intimate connections in your marriage. So this video is going to be helpful as you listen to it, because when I talk about intimacy, it does lead to more sexual connection. I'm going to talk to you about what you can do to actually start to work on intimate connection in your relationship. But before I do that, remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's easy to get caught in the trap of blaming your partner when you're feeling like there's a lack of intimacy in your relationship. It's easy to look at them and say, what's their problem? Why don't they change? Why don't they make things better so that we can be happy together? I feel like I'm doing everything I can and they're not changing. So I'm just stuck in this place of hell. I'm stuck in this suffering. I'd encourage you, one of the first things that you can do to start to turn the tide and make a shift in your relationship is to self-reflect, is to try to get yourself out of that place of victimhood and to look at it and say, what is it about I? How am I creating this lack of intimacy in our relationship? Instead of just blaming them, actually take some accountability for your part and look closely at the things that you can shift. Now, I realize that's a big ask for me to ask you to do that. I get it. That's a hard thing to do. But that's where your power is. That's what's in your control. So you can look at yourself and say, I can create shifts here and there, and maybe things can be different in our relationship. You may want to give up. You may have felt alone and stuck and hopeless in your relationship for a long, long time. A relationship without intimacy can feel so hopeless. And you can get so frustrated. But I'd encourage you to not give up. Find some hope. Start to communicate openly with your partner about what you need and why you need it. Cause some friction in your relationship. If you've gotten really comfortable in a relationship where there's no intimacy, that comfort is a problem. So go cause some discomfort. I'm not saying go create some chaos. I'm not saying go be rude or destructive or awful in your relationship, but cause some discomfort by being honest and confronting the issue and not standing back and not accepting a lack of intimacy in your life, in your relationship. If you've been in a relationship for a long time where there's a lack of intimacy, then I'd highly encourage you to seek some professional help. What's happened is you and your partner have gotten used to the patterns that you're in. And these patterns have created a lack of intimacy. That's one of the outcomes of your relationship, is that you lack intimacy. If that's true, then a good therapist can help you identify what those patterns are and teach you other ways that you can respond and react in your relationship to get different outcomes. So be open to getting help, to talking it through, to having a professional give you the tools that you need to start to kindle some things and create some things so that you can have intimacy again. One thing that is in your control that you can do is to get educated. So if you've watched this video to this point, it means you're hungry for some education. So good job. Keep doing that. There's so many resources out there. There's good books to read. Anything by John Gottman is great about marriage. Anything by Sue Johnson, emotionally focused couples therapy, anything like that will help you understand what intimacy actually is. So fill yourself full of good information about how to go from living in a relationship with no connection to a healthily attached relationship that creates intimacy. The last thing that I tell you to do may be the most difficult. It's the thing that I think people struggle with the most. But this is what it is. It's surrendering what's not in your control and focusing on what is in your control. Now, when we're in a relationship, when we're in a marriage, the reality is we don't control our partner. They are an individual. They are a human being who we don't have control over. And as nice as it would be to be able to go to your partner and say, I need you to go to therapy, I need you to get educated, I need you to practice healthy communication, they may or may not choose to do that. So separating out what's in your control, what's not in your control. If they choose not to do that and not create intimacy, then what is in your control? Well, becoming a healthy person who creates safety and trust in a relationship, that's in your control. Becoming an educated person, seeking help, being humble, being kind, being willing, all of those things are in your control so that you can be a partner who can create safety and intimacy. Now, if your partner refuses to change at all, then you may need to have some honest, healthy boundaries for yourself where you work toward pushing them to either get healthy themselves or the relationship's going to change or even end. And in my opinion, that's better than being stuck in hell. It's better than choosing a life where you lack a love connection in your relationship. One of the most important things that you can do to create intimacy in your relationship is to learn how to communicate, learn how to listen, learn how to validate and empathize with your partner. If you want help with your relationship and you want to learn how to create intimate connection, then go to my website, therapyutah.org, and I can find you the help there that you need in order to work through these problems in your relationship.